if you run into concrete in your place and have similar issues, there is a solution that seems to have worked really well for us.
We should put that link.
Yeah, let's link it in the
let's
description.
link it.
And if you need to buy it, it was very easy to set up.
Oh, so easy.
And we got to name our own Wi-Fi with it, and it's been very
I
slick.
bet you'll never guess what we named it. Rhymes with Labby.
No, Casa de Shabby.
Yeah, Casa de Shabby.
Hola, I'm Shannon.
I'm Abby.
Today we're going to talk about the 5 things that are harder for us than we expected in Mexico. So before we moved, we had a pretty good idea about what to expect, what was going to be easier, what was going to be harder, but there's a few things that surprised us with how hard they are. The first thing is ordering from Amazon.
Yeah. So the one thing to know is that unless someone wants to prove us wrong on this, which I would totally welcome that, is that we were both Amazon Prime members in America, and you cannot use that service here. So you have to re-sign up and do it for Amazon MX Prime. So, I was like, hey, I guess I'll just cancel my Amazon Prime and save myself a monthly bill.
So now we have Mexico Prime, but things aren't quite as fast as in the US. And in fact, some things come from the US. So it takes weeks.
Yeah, and that's okay. I mean, you just have to, or if you need something immediately, probably not the best thing to go order it online. But if you don't care, like if it's a table or something that you're like, I don't really care if it comes now or 2 weeks from now, then obviously that would be your answer, would be to utilize that service.
And like we're furnishing a whole room. We have an office that is basically empty, a blank slate. And so we need everything. We need a rug, we need furniture, we need all this stuff. And so we're just going to wait for it on Amazon. But another thing about Amazon is the app is only in Spanish. So if you're not completely fluent in Spanish, that's difficult. But if you use a browser, you can use the translation in your browser to English. So I do find that much easier.
Yeah. It helps us learn our Spanish.
Yes, perdidos. That means orders. I've learned that. The last thing I want to mention about Amazon is that the tracking isn't accurate. So for instance, we literally she just got a call that we have a package coming today and nothing was due today.
I mean, I find that's a nice surprise.
Yes, but it could be it's due tomorrow and it comes next week. Like,
oh, well, we haven't ran into that yet. So let's just stay hopeful.
But we also live behind a gate. So in order for them to deliver to us, they have to call us. Yeah. And so if we kind of need to know when they're coming so we can be here.
Which is important too, that if you order, if you have delivery instructions for any app, go ahead and utilize that box and tell them like what the situation is and then provide a WhatsApp number. And they've been calling us. So once we put those instructions in, then they started calling me and letting me know that they were here. So
for this delivery address, I added instructions in Spanish that basically says, please call us so we could open the gate. And then I put the phone number. And now every time I order to that address, it automatically attaches those instructions. And that seems to be the trick. Yeah. Like just having the number and address on the order wasn't enough. The delivery instructions had to be added, and now they're just automatic.
So, it's the same thing you would do in the United States. You can put delivery instructions, or if it's a business, then, you can mark the hours that business is open, vice versa, and things like that. So it's helpful to fill out that box in Spanish and tell them to give you a jingle when the packages are on their way today. Like the guy said today, he was like, I'll be here at 3 or 4. Is that okay?
Great.
Bueno.
Yeah, we'll be here. Anyway, so number 1 is order from Amazon. Number 2 is getting the internet to work reliably.
Yeah. I feel like this has been such a sore subject for us since we moved here because our last place had really bad. It was almost like the lower grade. It was like the entry level grade of internet. And then I think that place had one box that was trying to service the entire building, which I'm like, yeah, that ain't gonna work out. But here, we have the best internet company service
and fiber connection.
Yeah, and fiber connection, everything's great. But the thing with the housing structure here is everything's made out of concrete. So how do you think that works out?
And we have 3 floors.
And we have 3 floors. So Shan here did some ordering.
Yeah, I got I think it's TCP brand, and they're called deco units. So basically, we have a unit on every floor. The one that is our very top floor has the modem router. And so the one deco unit up there is hardwired to that. And then every floor has its own so that it basically extends our Wi-Fi more reliably, even though we have concrete. So basically, it's not enough just to get the highest speed internet, at least in our place, with all the concrete and everything. We had to have these other units. And now I think it's been pretty good.
Oh, it's been working out great. It's basically like a little internet ask. Like it just, hey, come on, get it. Shake a leg, make the internet work in every single room.
Yeah. So if you run into concrete in your place and have similar issues, there is a solution that seems to have worked really well for us.
We should put that link.
Yeah, we'll link. Yeah, let's link it in the description. And if you need to buy it, it was very easy to set up.
Oh, so easy.
And we got to name our own Wi-Fi with it, and it's been very slick.
I bet you'll never guess what we named it. Rhymes with Labby.
No, Casa de Shabby.
Yeah, Casa de Shabby.
Anyway, that's number 2. Number 3 is cooking / grocery shopping.
Okay, I'm gonna first tell you. Okay, here's the thing. Well, I think once you do it, okay, as long as you do it once, then for me, okay, as long as I know the process, I'm like, okay, I get it. Like, for example, going to Walmart. Yes, there's a super Walmart here, fantastic. And then right next door is Sam's Club. Super. So when you go in some of the parking lots here in Puerto Vallarta, you have to have, you have to pay to park in the lot. Like they have the arms down, stuff like that. So you can't get in there unless you pay. So anyway, Uber drivers cannot get into some of these lots. So for Walmart, for example, the Uber drivers drop you off in the front of the property outside of the parking lot by the main street. And then you walk through the parking lot and go in. However, when you leave, your best bet is to take a taxi because you're obviously probably going to have a cart full of stuff and you're not going to want to truck all that out to the parking lot, out to the side of the road where the Ubers pick up. But the cabs pull up right there. All the taxis line up right there. So when you get out and you have a load full of groceries, then the cab drivers see you, they come over. If their buddies are doing nothing, they'll help load up the cab and you pay them and you go on your way and you pay them and it works out great. And my experience when we went to Walmart, I was like, okay, we got the Walmart thing figured out.
Yeah.
So
that's one aspect of it. But the part that bothers me as a person that follows recipes is that I like to make a grocery list from my recipe and then go get it in the store and then obviously come home and make the recipe. And it's really hard to go with a list and then you have to translate everything at the store. So for instance, I just made stuffed bell peppers and we mostly eat vegan food. So they aren't stuffed with meats, they're stuffed with veggies. And so when I went, obviously I can recognize most veggies, but I almost bought a cucumber instead of a zucchini because I don't recognize the signs. And then I needed brown rice. We're used to buying the microwavable packs of Uncle Ben's, which take a minute to cook in the microwave. It was just shelves and shelves of rice, and I had to translate all the packages to get the right one.
Isn't rice gross?
But brown rice specifically was one I just kept having to translate. Anyway, just translate everything. And then I couldn't find the spices that I wanted. And so just that part, and then had to carry home everything, and it was hot and whatever. Anyway, so I get home and I want to make it. And then I realize I don't know how to light our gas stove, which obviously you just learn that once and then you're good. And then I have to translate every step of the instructions on the rice, for instance. And that took 50 minutes instead of 1 minute like I'm used to. And then constantly translating temperature. So the recipe says preheat your oven to 425 Fahrenheit. So then I'm just constantly translating to Celsius. It took forever. It was a recipe I've made a million times.
Oh yeah.
And I think it took twice as long. The results though,
it tasted better.
It tasted better
than it did when she made it in America. I'll be honest, I was this probably gonna be super bland. No offense. But I kind of thought because I mean, she didn't have her spices, but I was like, hey, I did buy some garlic and salt and pepper, so I think you should be able to be fine with seasoning it. Just that.
That's all I used,
and that's all she used. But the vegetables were so fresh and yummy. I mean, it just tastes different because it's not marinated in chemicals and everything like that. And so, and we buy the proper thing to wash them, but I completely understand where she's coming from on that aspect. I guess the physicalities of going shopping is, one and done. Like you figure it out and then you're like, okay, now I know the, but yeah, when she was gone on her business trip, I went to the store because, I'm like, well, gonna have to eat, gonna have to get a few things. So I walked to one of the stores called Soriana's here, which is a local supermarket, and it took me. I had to buy shampoo and conditioner. It took me like 20 minutes to go through. I at least narrowed it down to a brand. I'm like, okay, first things first, let's narrow it down to a brand that I'm familiar with. So I was like, oh, Tresemme. Okay, I've bought their products before, but they have like so many different ones. I'm like, oh, hell. So I'm like going through and like translating each word on each like first. If I get the first word, then I can figure out what, for dry hair, for curly hair, for colored hair, for I don't know, whatever. So I do understand that aspect of it is that you have to translate everything. Uh, Also, to even though it's a brand name that you know and love, like for example, Special K cereal. Those who know that need it, they know exactly what to expect. Down here, we have Kellogg's brand stuff. There's General Mills stuff like Lucky Charms and things like that. They don't taste the same way that they do in America. So I get this box of Special K and I'm like, oh, okay, this is gonna be great, because I like if I'm gonna eat cereal, I don't want anything too heavy. And so I get that. And then I have this battle with trying to find my almond milk. And that's been a
the almendras.
that. And so that's been a wrestling battle too, because uh, there's so many, which is great. I just have to select the right one. And a lot of it is because of the labels and a lot of it's trial and error. So anyway, I'm like, I get home from my day out in the ocean on the sailboat and I'm like, I'm so hungry. I think I'm going to have some cereal. So I pour the Special K, pour the milk in there, and I'm like, all right. And I take one flake of the Special K. First, I'm like, why is this so dark? It's like a Special K that has a tan, and so it's been on the beach a little long. Tasted like it was on the beach a little long too because I ate it and I was like, oh, it tasted like all brand flakes. Like that. Like I think Kellogg's make all brand, and it's like literally flakes of cardboard. Like if you could shred cardboard, that was what that was. And I was like, oh. And then I felt bad because I'm like, well, I don't want to waste it. So and then my almond milk was way too sweet. And I thought, well, maybe they'll balance each other out. No, it was a hot mess. And I just choked it down. I was like, I'm hungry. I got to put something in me. So that was my Special K.
Yeah,
experience.
so there's a lot of new things to figure out, but also the things that look familiar may not be what you think they are.
Warning.
So there's a lot of learning, and it can be really frustrating when you're just trying to get a few groceries or you're hungry and you're just trying to cook a meal. We'll get there.
Yeah, we have to more me than you, but I can. If you're going to the store, you better schedule that on your calendar, like a 2-hour block out. So
I think my solution right now is going to be to cook fewer recipes and just do more of your style cooking, which is
wing it,
pick up some ingredients and make something up,
throw it together.
Because the conversion of everything and trying to find a specific list is really overwhelming to me right now.
Yeah, and I know too. I was, like I was telling you the other day, I said, there's going to be a point like a year from now or something where you just get it.
Yeah, but because we're in this phase right now, I want anybody who's watching this to know that it is a strong possibility because
a strong possibility
of it being difficult.
Oh, I'm going to put a guarantee on that.
And it's a learning curve that we didn't know that it was going to, be quite so hard.
You know how they say you should always learn something new every day, even though we're older. We are on that. We are all over that like a lampshade.
We're learning new things every day. Yeah, all right, so that one is cooking and grocery shopping. Next up on the list, speaking of translating, speaking of translating labels, the next thing on the list is learning Spanish.
See,
so we are both actively trying to learn Spanish, but I think the thing that I thought at least was okay, we'll enroll in a class and then that will be the way that we learn. But what we're learning, I think, is it takes a lot of different things to learn Spanish, and that one method isn't enough.
Yeah, you just need to immerse yourself into apps, culture, and school.
Conversational practice, telling, like, you tell our waiters, we're trying to learn Spanish. Can you speak slowly? When I go to places that are routine for me to like order my coffee, I try to do more of my transactions in Spanish every week. I try to get better at those, which is why I know the word for almond milk because I really want to order my coffee with almond milk and I had to learn, leche de almendras. And that way I can ask for it. But I'm getting better at it. And it's not just one method, it's really all the methods. And I think a lot of people will suggest, like, if you're moving to Mexico, you should learn Spanish. But I honestly don't know if we were back in the United States, if we could have learned it because all those different options aren't really available, right? It's like you're just using an app or you're just using a class.
Yeah, I think, if it's too structured, it's too structured. And meaning that, like, I get what you're saying and I agree with that because it's like, oh, this is how you do this and this. Well, not necessarily because and that's why I said culture is one of them. Culture meaning going out, going to restaurants, going to clubs, going to do activities, just going and have conversations. I mean, I love the Mexican community because once they know you're learning and you're trying, they will help you. Like every Uber driver, every taxi driver I've had, I straight up just tell them, and they're so helpful. I literally had one Uber driver tell me how to say like every single feature, arms, everything. He was just going to town and he loved it because you're making an effort. But a lot of times these conversations also bring up like, oh, well, you can say this. And I know they teach you this, but you can just say this. So you learn certain stuff in schools and in apps, but then the community will tell you, well, you can just say this and we'll know what you're meaning, which is more beneficial because you're going to use that more every day. I mean, it's okay either way, I guess, but I'd rather, if that's the way that's more natural or informal, then, I would want to go that route, especially if it's easier. Why not?
Most Spanish taught in the United States is for Spain. It's Castilian. And so I think if you're planning to move a different country, then it's helpful to learn the specific flavor that is associated with that country. And obviously living here makes it easier, but not one single method is going to do it for us. It's going to have to just be lots of different things. And my goal is that we just pick up a few new things every week because it snowballs. And then eventually we'll have a lot more vocabulary than we did when we moved here. We've already picked up a lot. And we're just trying to get better at. I think just showing an effort is respectful and makes people know that you're serious about trying, even if we can't be super conversational yet.
Well, I just even like Shan just said, you can just ask me to slow down. It's not rude. Like if you're a jerk about it, that's one thing. But if you're like me, I'm just like, hey, I'm learning Spanish. Do you mind just going slow with me so I can understand and have a conversation? They're always like, yeah. And they're always helpful and they point stuff out and they'll say
like the other day I ordered a meal and it was a burger and fries. So simple, but he asked me if I wanted to add some things to it. And I said mushrooms. My whole order had been in Spanish until that point. And so then he told me the word for mushrooms. I think it's mushroom. And so he helped me. And that was an extra word. So just showing an effort, they help you. It's very good, but it really takes a lot of different kinds of things to learn Spanish. And one thing's not going to do it.
I think a lot of people, it's like the first response that people give to that's what I got too, was people are just like, oh, you don't have to speak Spanish and you move to another country.
Well, one of the many reasons we chose Puerto Vallarta is because it is so bilingual.
It is.
So we can get by speaking English. It is going to be easier when we can speak Spanish.
Yeah, it is. But the point is that we're learning it. If you don't know and you're worried about that, don't worry about it. It's okay. You'll learn. It'll be all right. It'll be fun. You'll enjoy it. And then my goal is to, I can't say it as pretty as everyone else does. They speak it so beautifully down here, and I sound not like that.
We'll get there.
Yeah, and then it'll eventually just roll off the tongue.
Okay, so that was number 4, and the last thing on our list is number 5: adjusting to what furnished means. So whenever you're renting, almost most places come furnished, but that can mean completely different things. And this has been very frustrating to me because we had a lot of stuff before we moved, and now we're rebuying it because we don't have it.
The same stuff, no
The
joke.
same stuff. And if we had rented a different place, we might have had those items, but been missing some others. Like you really don't know what you're going to get when you buy a furnished place. So we have bought like silverware, plates, pots and pans, all the stuff we owned. We had 2 sets of in the United States, and now we're rebuying. I bought a microwave. We didn't have a microwave here.
And you know what? I cannot remember the last time I bought a microwave. This is like the first. I think the last time I bought a microwave,
many years ago.
Yeah, it had been like when I was living. Yeah, right when I was living in Illinois, I got my first apartment or something like that. Because most places, like you rent apartments, stuff they come above the stove in America or whatever. The house comes with it. So I was like, she microwave.
And this has been more frustrating than I expected it to be because I just feel like I'm 19 again and I have nothing. And we are middle aged. We each had everything. And when
we had double everything.
We had double. And we moved in together. We got rid of a lot of stuff, or we just had 2 sets of like dishes, for instance.
Because I didn't want to give up my dishes, and she didn't want to give up her pink dishes. And I'm like, fine, we'll have 2 dishes.
And then we moved here with none.
But it's okay. So here's the thing too. First off, that's a learning lesson. No big deal. Now, but here's also, it's the truth of it, realistic. We wouldn't be able to bring all of that stuff down anyway. So we could sit here and beat ourselves up about it, or we can say, there ain't no way in hell all that stuff was going to fit in the van. So, and plus too, we donated a lot of the kitchen stuff went to a family who had a fire. So I think also, and she has even mentioned this, that now we buy things together. So before it was like, oh, that's Shannon's dishes and these are Abby's dishes. And now it's like, oh, we're going to go pick out our dishes. We're going to go pick out our stuff. So it's technically it's like the first time that we're buying stuff together.
Yeah.
Which most of the time I just tell her to do what she wants because she really buys pretty things and she'll make it look nice. I don't care.
But it kind of goes with the cooking set, which is we didn't have the skillets. We don't have a colander. We didn't have a microwave until we got one delivered. Like everything takes longer because we're trying to figure out what gaps need to be filled in because we just don't have it yet.
The word of the day, kids, is patience. That is the word of the day, possibly the word of the month or year. You just need patience and it'll be fine.
Patience, but also we've just lived in limbo for so long that I just want things to be easy.
She wants everything to be like it was.
I do. I at least want to be able to cook easily.
Yeah, we'll get there. It just takes time and it's fine. And you know, for anybody that's doing this, just do what works for you, but don't over stress about, oh, I need to take everything now because now they're wishing they had this and that. Because then you just have so much stuff. And especially if we did, that would have sucked because we kept living out of totes. So then imagine having to go through all that and moving all of that stuff. You know what, work smarter, not harder. I'm glad that we sold and donated and then we start over. Okay, so we start over, no big deal. But hey, we're giving into the Mexico economy and that makes me happy to give to this country. So,
but I guess just prepare for that, like patience wise and also budget wise, because it's costing money for us to get all our supplies replenished.
Yeah.
And we'll get there. So I have a feeling this list of 5 will seem very easy by, several months from now or a year from now or something. Like we got it, but I just didn't expect them.
Yeah, that's all right.
Before we move.
I would say pick your kitchen favorites. If you have kitchen favorites and you can easily stow them away or however you're getting down here, I would just pick your favorites and know that, yes, also it's not third world country. They sell stuff down here. But just if you have stuff you're attached to, like I have Henkel knives that I'm very attached to. So I was like, okay, I'm taking those because they come in a case and things. So I was like, I'm taking those. She has this array of colorful knifeware that she likes. And so we brought those. So just take what you like and what works out and everything. I would recommend that if you have in America, I did because we bought a pots and pan set here. They run smaller here. So when you think you're getting a big, like I call it like a spaghetti pot or something like that, big skillet, you're not. Because when I picked up the box, I was like, this is really light.
I know.
Why is this so light? And then I got home, I'm like, oh my God, everything is tiny in here. It's functional, but so I would say I would bring a big, if you have like one of those big sauce pots, a skillet, something like that, I would bring that. I would pack that.
We do have a big skillet coming from Amazon.
This one.
So
get the hookup.
I
So
cannot complete a recipe with lots of little pans. It takes too long and too many burners.
But I think it's just important don't freak out. Don't do all the, I mean, I know we're sitting here saying, oh my gosh, we start over. Oh my God. It's fine. It's fine.
It's fine. We just didn't expect it.
We didn't expect it. And that's okay. And now we're here. You're paying it forward. So just don't stress and, just kind of think of what you really use. Be realistic. What do you really use all the time? What are you really lenient on? And then pack that if that's helpful. Helpful information.
So that is our list of 5. We did use the Mexico relocation guide to get us here. So if you're interested in those resources to learn how to move, there is information in there about what to bring and what not to bring that we did find helpful. Even though some parts of it have been a surprise, we did learn a lot from there. And that is linked in the description if you're interested in purchasing that for your move.